The city of Boston was drenched in rain, its streets glistening under the glow of streetlights. In an old, worn-out taxi sat Damon Salvatore, gripping the steering wheel with calloused hands. Life had not been kind to Damon. Once a hopeful man with dreams of a better future, he now spent his days navigating the city's endless roads, barely earning enough to keep his small apartment and provide for his ailing mother, Margaret. Despite his struggles, Damon remained kind. He had seen enough of life to understand that everyone carried their own burdens. He believed that kindness, no matter how small, could make a difference. That evening, as Damon waited near a dimly lit sidewalk, a man in a sharp suit staggered toward his cab, drenched from head to toe. His breathing was labored, his hand clutched against his chest. "Please, take me to St. Mary's Hospital," the man gasped, barely able to speak. Damon didn't hesitate. He pulled out into traffic, weaving skillfully through the crowded streets. His heart pounded, not because he feared the man would collapse in his car, but because he knew time was against them. "Hang in there, sir," Damon said, glancing at the rearview mirror. The man's face was pale, his eyes filled with pain. Within minutes, they arrived at the emergency entrance. Damon jumped out, calling for help. Doctors and nurses rushed in, placing the man onto a stretcher. As the medical team wheeled him away, Damon exhaled in relief, only to realize that in the rush, his passenger had not paid the fare. Most drivers would have driven off, cursing their bad luck. But Damon simply sighed and got back into his cab. Money was tight, but a human life was worth far more. For the next few days, Damon didn't think much about that night. His life continued as usual, long shifts, little sleep, and a constant worry about bills. Then, one afternoon as he parked outside a diner, his phone rang. "Is this Damon Salvatore?" a deep voice asked. "Yes. Who's this?" "My name is William Carter. You saved my life the other night." Damon frowned, trying to recall. Then it hit him, the man in the suit. "You don't owe me anything, sir," Damon said quickly. "I just did what anyone would do." William chuckled. "Not everyone would have done what you did. Meet me at the Oakwood Hotel this evening." Damon hesitated. The Oakwood was a 5-star hotel, far beyond anything he had ever stepped into. But something in William's voice told him he should go. That evening, Damon arrived at the elegant hotel, feeling out of place in his worn jeans and faded jacket. Inside, William Carter stood waiting, healthy, strong, and smiling. "Come, sit," William said, gesturing to a table by the window. Damon hesitated before sitting. "Sir, William raised a hand. "Let me tell you something. I own a transportation company. I started small, just like you. But now I have the power to change lives, and today I want to change yours. How would you like to manage your own fleet of taxis?" Damon blinked, stunned. What? "You have the heart for it, and I believe in rewarding kindness." Damon sat in stunned silence, his mind struggling to grasp the enormity of what was happening. For years, he had battled hardship, accepting that life would always be an uphill climb. Now, out of nowhere, a door had opened, a door he never even knew existed. I don't know what to say," Damon finally managed. "Say yes," William said with a grin. "I've already arranged everything. You'll have your own fleet, and I'll guide you in running the business. You won't have to drive taxis anymore unless you want to." Damon's eyes stung. He had spent so long enduring life that he had forgotten how it felt to dream. He thought of his mother, of the nights he had gone without food just to afford her medicine. This opportunity wasn't just for him. It was for her too. A lump formed in his throat as he looked William in the eye. "I don't know how to thank you." "You already did," William said. "You saved my life, and now I get to change yours." As Damon walked out of the Oakwood Hotel that evening, the city felt different. The streets that once seemed endless now held new possibilities. The rain that once symbolized struggle now felt refreshing. For the first time in years, Damon felt something he had forgotten: hope. And this time, he wasn't going to let it slip away. Damon stepped into his old taxi, but for the first time, he wasn't weighed down by exhaustion or worry. Instead, he felt a lightness in his chest, a sense of purpose he hadn't known in years. He gripped the steering wheel and exhaled, realizing that this ride, this chapter of his life, was about to change forever. The following days were a whirlwind. William introduced Damon to his company. guiding him through the business. Paperwork, meetings, and decisions, things that once felt so out of reach, became part of Damon's reality. Despite his new role, he found himself behind the wheel one last time. One evening, as the city buzzed with life, he drove through familiar streets, remembering the countless passengers he had picked up, each with their own story, their own struggles. As he pulled up to his apartment, Damon stepped out and looked up at the night sky. The weight he had carried for so long was gone. He wasn't just surviving anymore. He was building a future. A few weeks later, Damon moved his mother into a better home, one where she could finally rest without worrying about bills or medicine. Seeing her smile, truly smile, after so many years made every struggle worth it. One evening, William called him. "How does it feel, Damon?" Damon smiled, standing in front of his new office, his business. "It feels like I finally found my way," William chuckled. "That's the power of kindness. One small act can change everything." Damon knew he was right. And as he looked ahead, he made a silent promise to always pay it forward, just as kindness had found its way to him. Kindness is never wasted. Even when it feels unnoticed, it has the power to transform lives. A single act of compassion can set off a chain of events that leads to something greater than we ever imagined.